Alright guys, welcome back to F1 News, and with Charles Leclerc launching into a substantial advantage already here in F1 2022, Max Verstappen seems already relatively downcast about his chances this season, saying that he might need 45 races to catch this man on screen. Very much intrigued your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, all that good stuff. Firstly, we're going to talk about Ferrari. Leclerc's obviously been dominating so far this season, two wins and a second place, not too bad. Fastest laps all across the board, well, as I've said the last few days here really, if he was a constructor, he would still be top of the Constructors' Championship on his own. First of all, got to discuss this real quick before we talk about potential Ferrari upgrades that won't actually be happening, it seems, in Imola. The South African Grand Prix seemingly is going to return. This has been talked about for quite some time. Hamilton's been pretty vocal. Seemingly F1 believe that, okay, there was no African Grand Prix so far. They want to bring this one back. I believe Hamilton said when the Las Vegas Grand Prix was confirmed that the next one he wanted was to be in Africa, and of course, potentially the return to South Africa for the first time since 1993, I believe. A very long time. Apparently, that is in the works and will be the next one to be confirmed, maybe later this year, but hopefully for 2023, 2024, something like that. They're certainly going to have to think about, though, which races get replaced, because talk about France being on the chopping block, even Spa being on the chopping block, so they're going to have to figure that one out, because of course 25 races is the maximum per season they're allowed to do. Max Verstappen reckons he might need 20 more than that to catch Leclerc, but it's a long season, anything is still possible. It's certainly still possible, but it's kind of rarely been overturned, a gap like this throughout F1 history. Let's talk Ferrari real quick then, because they will eventually avoid bringing any major updates to this F1 car. Of course, look, their car is great. They know it's great. There are still some issues, right? The porpoising on the straights is definitely affecting them. Leclerc made it pretty clear that, yes, at Australia, going into turn 9 and turn 10, that chicane was pretty hard, bouncing up and down to judge the braking zone. Lost a bit of time there to Verstappen in the qualification lap, made it up, though, in Sector 3. But look, on the whole, the car was just imperious, to be honest, this weekend. Was no match for the rest of the fields. They, I think, put a bit more power in the car as well, bringing another 5 horsepower or so to the power unit that we looked at yesterday, but it seems like they're not going to bring any further updates to Imola, and this is mainly because it's going to be a sprint race weekend. That's also a pretty big deal, because I'm pretty sure the driver that wins the sprint race gets like 8 points. There's a fair bit of points up the grass. What it means with the sprint race being a thing on the Saturday is that there's only 1 hour of practice, and then we go straight into quali, then into sprint racing effectively, and then that determines the order for the races we saw last year. So what this means is there's not many periods of time for the drivers or for the teams to get much feedback on if their upgrades are actually working. They know the car is good. Ferrari might think they have a fair bit to gain, but also they don't want to lose anything, right, with bringing some maybe unnecessary upgrades to the car. Want to make sure their current package they have is well adjusted to the Imola circuit in that kind of 1 hour of practice that they have only. So basically saying, look, it'll be a difficult weekend in respect to bringing updates, trying to evaluate them in the Friday practice, because you need to obviously focus on the quality of the afternoon. If we look at ourselves, probably not much we're actually going to bring to Imola. Later in the season, they reckon they're going to bring more significant upgrades, but that will be later on in the season. So who knows whether other kind of teams are going to adopt a similar attitude here, because Ferrari seemingly don't really want to do much. Red Bull are going to bring something or other, it seems, to Imola, but mainly that's going to be a weight reduction as opposed to any significant aero upgrades or, what have you on the car. Mercedes, on the other hand, have targeted Imola as the time that they might bring some significant aero upgrades in regards to the floor, reducing the drag that they seem to be experiencing right now. But, still, will they delay that one? I believe George Russell has kind of said that don't expect too many updates very soon, just because, maybe a similar situation to what Ferrari are thinking, okay, maybe is it the greatest idea? Should we just optimize the package we currently have, given the fact that the sprint race is going to be very important on the Saturday for points, as well as, of course, qualification positions for the race on the Sunday. So lots for these teams to think about, but that's why it's kind of good to have a good car, right? Red Bull, that's probably why Horner was making the point, better to have a fast car that's unreliable than trying to make a slow car fast, because there's not many opportunities to evaluate any potential upgrades you might make. Whereas reliability, in theory, can be fixed behind the scenes, but of course Red Bull are certainly going to have to get on top of that one, given the other cars around them are certainly more reliable at the moment. Even as Charles Leclerc says, to keep up with Red Bull in terms of development, it's going to be difficult. But it's the same team that did this car that will work on the development for this year's car, so he's confident they're going to be able to keep up. But yeah, Red Bull and Mercedes, I guess, feel like they have some confidence in the fact that they can develop faster over the course of the season, but they certainly will have to do that if they want to catch the Ferrari, because Leclerc's advantage is already significant. He's driving phenomenally, but look, there's 20 races still to go towards the end of the year. But Max Verstappen isn't so convinced that they're going to be able to turn it around so easily. Helmut Marko says that they'll be entitled to an evolution in Imola, but it's mainly to do with reducing the weight. He said they're going to bring in some more expensive, kind of lighter materials for the Imola race that might reduce the weight of their package quite significantly. That should help by 2, 3, 4 tenths per lap or something along those lines. So probably upgrades like this are ones that you can get away with making, because it's not air or anything, it's just the same thing but lighter, which is certainly going to be ideal. So probably that's what they'll bring in. They believe that if they can reduce the weight, they will be on par with Ferrari, but still, if they'll manage that in Imola, a Ferrari's home race. I guess that remains to be seen. Helmut Marko also said here their car is way too heavy. The RB18 finished late as we were in a title race through the end of last year. So updates are coming through the upcoming race in Imola and Grand Prix after. Currently more than 10 kilos heavier than Ferrari, he reckons. In terms of lap time, you're already talking about a loss of 3/10. If they can turn that around, they reckon they'll gain 3/10 back immediately. That was the disadvantage that Verstappen had to Leclerc on the pole lap at Australia. And of course in the race as well, they were losing a bit more time than that. But who knows if they can turn things around. That at least is the plan. But look, Max Verstappen isn't particularly confident. This clip actually came out where he was basically joking in the background, saying like it doesn't seem to matter whether he starts at the front or the back, he's still not going to finish the races. Not particularly happy, of course, with the double DNFs he's had so far this year. Seems like the Red Bull is kind of, finish first or finish last or don't even finish at all type of car, to be honest. Maybe an Adrian Newey classic. But he's come out and said effectively there's no reason to believe in his ability to defend this F1 title. I'm sure he knows he can. I'm sure like there's still some confidence within him somewhere. But I'm just looking at the way Leclerc is driving and how good the Ferrari is and the reliability problems that have been affecting AlphaTauri as well as the Red Bull. Like it wouldn't be a surprise to see a good few more DNFs, to be honest, for Red Bull throughout the rest of the season. If that happens, like it's completely done and dusted, to be honest. Of course, we want a competitive title battle, but look, Leclerc's obviously not looking back at all with the potential of that one. So this is what Verstappen says, because he now lies 46 points off runaway championship leader Charles Leclerc. He reckons that they might need 45 races to catch him outright. They need to find more pace. Of course, like theoretically, it doesn't take that many races to catch up, but in reality, like he doesn't believe it's going to be the case because he has more DNFs, right? And even if he wins a load of the remaining races at the tracks that favour his car, they're certainly going to have some significant pace upgrades to even match and surpass the Ferrari to the point where you can overturn a gap like that, especially if Leclerc stays consistent and always, P2 at best or P2 at worst, P1 at best. Like it's going to be tough to get ahead. Being already so far down in the championship, from now on we need to be ahead. We need to be quicker, which we're not at the moment, and we need to be reliable. So there's a lot of things to work on. I don't even think about it at the moment. There's no reason to believe in the possibility that he can go back to back here. Says, okay, well, this is what Horner says actually. We're only 10% of the way into the championship. It's encouraging on the basis we have a quick car. But look, they obviously need to turn things around quickly. I'm sure he'll be coming back strong at Imola. We'll certainly need to do so. Any further deficit will put him in a situation where it's going to be very challenging to turn over this one. We saw, I looked at this yesterday, I believe, but this is the highest points deficit ever overturned in F1. Verstappen, if he was to do it this year, is already kind of number 6 equaled all time. There has been some crazy overturns, at least when adjusted to the current system. Kimi Räikkönen back in 2007. Sebastian Vettel actually overturned a 44-point deficit back in 2012. So it's certainly something that can happen. And with 20 races left, it seems possible. But Verstappen seems somewhat downbeat about the possibilities, knowing the reliability of his car is compromised, and the fact that 20 races is less than 45, right? You might need to pick up a point per race on Charles Leclerc to make this one happen. Also want to talk about the McLaren, right? Because this weekend, they look so much better. P5, P6 for them was a question at the start of the year when they looked pretty good in early season testing in Barcelona. That, could they compete with the Mercedes, the Red Bulls, and the Ferraris of the world? It would be unbelievable to have a four-way battle at the front. Didn't work out at all in Bahrain. They were struggling to get into Q2, let alone get anywhere in the race, to be honest. And it was a big surprise to many people seeing them come to Australia and look pretty good. And Norris made his thoughts be clear on this, though, because he's not particularly confident that this is a massive turnaround. He just reckons that this track particularly suited their car, and saying other tracks, if they went back, for example, to Bahrain, they'd be in the position they were. Effectively saying Riccardo was very confident that he was encouraged by the mega result they had, but Norris has kind of cautioned this might be as good as it gets for quite some time. The car's been good from the FP1 throughout the entire weekend, which is a good thing. I think in FP3 they even set the fastest lap at a 1:19.1, I think Norris set in that session, but it shows there are still those strengths in the car. We need to keep working on the weaknesses though, because this track was particularly smooth and quick, and some of the other circuits don't particularly suit them, so they're going to need to understand what exactly is going wrong, but at least they have a quick car on circuits that suit their car. But will they be able to be competitive on other tracks? That remains to be seen. At the start it looked like they had more pace than the Mercedes actually, but it kind of fell off as the race progressed. They had some engine issues and some cooling issues and stuff they needed to handle as well. Decent result for the team, but Norris kind of went on to say we've seen in Bahrain how much quicker they were, the Mercedes guys, and the car we have today is basically the exact same car we had in Bahrain. We've not changed too much, shows we have a lot to work to do. So I'm pretty sure Norris said yes, there's been some upgrades, there's been some steps in the right direction for the team and for the car, but I'm pretty sure he said that if they went back to Bahrain tomorrow, he'd still be qualifying P13 on the grid. So lots of work to do there, and it's honestly really interesting how many things these teams have to get on top of, right? Because not just the new cars, right? How impactful the DRS is now, but also the tyres, right? Alex Albon was kind of saying that they don't really understand why that Williams is so good on the hards, and the other tyres don't really seem to work out too well for them. Also, what you do on your outlaps, for example, for qualifying, do you do one outlap, two outlaps? How hard do you push it? The teams have so much to understand, in addition to the fact that, some cars are just better at some circuits than others, and figuring out what that might be is anyone's anyone's guess, to be perfectly honest. Just as we close out the video, I wanted to mention this. You guys might have been aware that at the Miami Grand Prix, coming up after, I believe, the Imola one, they were planning to do a team principals parade with Christian Horner, Toto Wolff, and the boys going around like the drivers do before the race, kind of, leaning into the personality-driven sense that those guys kind of have over the US especially. Apparently, that's now been removed from the timetable, so not sure if that's a win or a loss, to be honest. Not sure it was something we really needed to do, but yeah, apparently that is now gone. And just to finish out with this, of course, talking about the fact that we're going back to Imola, this was a visualization of last year's race when Verstappen took the win in wet conditions. And very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, and I'll see you next time.